My name is Matthew Echeverria, and I want to personally welcome you to the Foundational Man podcast. We have a lot to talk about, and I want to talk about why I wanted to start this series of really what being a foundational man is all about. And we all have our stories. We all have what we've went through. And I just want to take this video to talk about my personal experiences and talk about how I came to terms with what was missing in my life and what manhood is really all about. So this podcast is called Foundational Man. So we want every man watching and listening to this to become foundational. And I have a lot of notes I'll be going over, but I just want to take a second and really address anybody that could be listening. More than likely, if you're listening to this, you are a man that you've dealt with certain things, whether you grew up to be a certain kind of way and you feel like, hey, I'm a good guy, I have good morals, I have good values, but for some reason it doesn't seem like I'm winning with life. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like I'm a couple steps behind, whether that's in my professional life, whether that's in my relationship, whether that's really anybody that's kind of in my circle. It just feels like I'm a couple steps behind, and I got an answer for you guys. And I could tell you for sure that I've been in your position, I've been in your shoes, and I just want y'all to know that, whatever is missing, I want to use this opportunity to enlighten you guys, because you may have grew up a certain kind of way that didn't give you a whole picture as to how to be, the complete version of what manhood is really all about. And manhood is hard, and if you go out into the world unequipped and ill-equipped, then the world's gonna let you know that there's something missing. So like I said, I want to just take this time, really talk about how I grew up and talk about how I feel I can help you guys out, because I've definitely overcome a lot. And by me overcoming things, I just got some things to talk about. Now, let me let y'all know right now, if you think of me as a relationship guru, if you think of me as this wise guru with all this wisdom and knowledge, I want y'all to get me off that pedestal right now, because I am learning. I'm still on the track to become the best version of myself, so I don't have all the answers, but I definitely know I can have some things that I could help you guys out with. All right, so let's get into it. I want to talk a little bit about my story. I want to talk about how I grew up and, a couple struggles that I had early on. And basically how I grew up, I was in a single parent household. I know, what a surprise. There's so many families out there dealing with single parents, and more than likely it's the mother that's in the center of that single parent household. And that's exactly how it was in my family. So I was raised with 3 brothers and 3 sisters and a single mother at the center of it all. And of course we grew up struggling, because it's hard. It's hard to feed 7 people, in a family. So, we definitely had some struggling times, and there were times where it got extremely bad. That's a whole nother video, but there are times it got really bad. But, what I appreciate about how I grew up and what I appreciate about my mom is that no matter what, she taught us some great values to walk away with as a person. So just a couple of values, she taught how to be loving, how to be respectful, how to be compassionate, how to be empathetic with other people, how to just, make sure that you prioritize your peace, and make sure that, the people around you, you're in a peaceful environment. And those are all great, absolutely great qualities and quantities to have as you are navigating the world. Especially as a young man, as you navigating this world as a young man, those are great, awesome foundational qualities to have. But I want you to do what I did. Take those values, take all of those things, and pretty much identify yourself as just that, and navigate the world just with those tools. And honestly, what you'll get is the stamp of a nice guy. Right? Nice guy. And I just want to talk about that for a second, because I know that that kind of sucks the air out of the room, but being a nice guy is virtually a guy who has some sort of foundational moral and principle and they're about being respectful, and they're about make sure you navigate, kind of avoid conflict and things like that. You want to navigate with as much peace as possible. But there's a downside to that because you're not a whole complete man. And I want to just talk about some of the downsides that I've experienced personally. So, first things first, there is automatically a loss of respect for nice guys. Let me say that one more time because I know that's not standard. I know that's not what people typically want to hear. But there is a loss of respect for people that are deemed nice guys. You want to know why? Because nice guys, when it's time to battle, when it's time to be confrontational, when it's time to defend, when it's times to like reiterate honor and respect, nice guys don't have that capability to do that. Nice guys don't, if you have a sister or brother, if you have a wife, nice guys don't feel comfortable coming to their defense and their honor to defend them. Or even more respectfully, like not even defending themselves. And that's what's even worse about that because people can sniff them out. And I know you know. Just think about it. Think about that person who is always, people pleaser, always a peacemaker, always have those type of qualities and traits. That's who you, whether instinctually or subconsciously or even consciously, that's who you deemed as a nice guy. And just think about how you treat that person. Or let me get off of you because I know you're not going to be honest. Think about how everybody else treats that person. Now, I know this person, he would be an awesome husband or boyfriend to somebody. And, what he does is, it appears as though he doesn't respect himself in a way that other people can realize that and other people can see that. So virtually he gets walked all over. And that's what nice guys have to deal with because one of the first things that nice guys feel is that they're being walked all over and they're being disrespected. Now, I felt that a couple occasions. There are times where people threw stuff at me. There's times where people how would I say, cursed me. There were times where there was a lot of things done to me where my instinctual reaction should have been defend myself, but I decided in order to keep the peace, in order to make sure that I don't rattle the cages or anything, I was silent. And we'll talk about this in future videos, but that's just not the way to go. And and this is one of the side effects of just being a nice guy, right? And this is my story, right? This is personally my story. I know other men have dealt with other things, and we'll get into that. But just in my story, this is how I was taught. And the crazy part of being a nice guy is that you live in a paradigm because you feel as though you got the tools that will have you being successful in life. And you feel as though you got all the resources from whether it's your environment, whether it's your parents giving you information, and whether it was just people, women, mentors telling you, hey, this is the right thing to do. This is how you treat people. So you live in a world where you are stuck feeling like this is the right thing to do, and you are left with problems that you can't really understand because you always feel like you're doing the right thing. And so that's another point I wanted to make is just, you feel just misunderstood. And this is within. You have your own mental battle and you're telling yourself, hey, I'm doing all the right stuff. I'm literally doing everything I can that is right and that is correct. And I'm still feeling like I'm getting the butt end of the stick, right? I know that's what a lot of men are going through, especially men that was raised with just their mom and men that wasn't really raised with what I say the other side of the coin. Keep watching, I'll explain that. And there's also a lack of trust from other people. So other people toward you, it's hard to trust a nice guy, right? Because a nice guy is going to say what they feel needs to be said. They're going to say things that may not be the truth, but in order to make sure that you always feel good, that you always feel perfect, that you always feel, they want to conform to their environment, and they want to just be welcomed in. And so nice guys are going to be that chameleon that's going to say what they feel needs to be said for their own security, and they're not always going to be honest, and so people can see them a mile away too. And it'd be nice if people can stand their own ground and have your own thoughts and your own opinions, but a lot of times what nice guys do is they are a bit more agreeable, and they become what's the word they conform. There we go. Thank you. They conform to their environment. And you can't trust somebody that's just going to conform and bend to any direction just because they're getting a little bit of pressure applied in a certain direction. So those are the effects. And, I had to come to the realization that something was missing. What was this thing that was missing? So whether it was in my professional life, whether it was in my dating life, early dating life, whether even early marriage, I have an awesome wife. My wife is completely awesome, but we've even dealt with certain things because of what I felt was just missing, and I knew something was missing. So what did I do? I had to go out and I had to figure it out. And I had to really get on this manhood journey, is what I call it, to really figure out exactly what was missing. And I got some answers for y'all. So I want y'all to keep watching, because on this next video, I'm going to explain certain things that I know what was missing in my journey to manhood. Because ultimately, what was missing was manhood and masculinity. That was missing. And guess who you get that from? You a young man, guess who you glean from regarding your masculinity and your manhood? That's right, that's your father. And the reason why fathers not being in their children's life, especially their son's life, the reason why this so detrimental is because men are tasked to traverse this difficult world with half the weaponry and half the knowledge and half the information that they should know. And see, that's what I mean by the other side of the coin. See, for men, you need two sides of a coin. And if anybody knows anything about a coin, if you have just one side of a coin and you don't have the other side, that coin virtually is useless. I want you to just go ahead and go with this experiment. I want you to go to a convenience store and buy some Skittles, right? And buy some Skittles with a coin that you can only see one half of that coin, right? Let's say Skittles cost 25 cents, and you got a coin that just shows the George Washington's head on that. On the other side is blank. You think they're going to accept that? What do you think? Absolutely not. You know why? Because that coin has no value. Even if you got the other side, that huge eagle spread out on the other side of that coin, and then where the head should be, it's a blank slate, the coin has no value and nobody's going to accept that. And see, a two-sided coin for men, one side is the side where you would get that knowledge from your mom, where it's empathetic, where it's compassion, where it's peace, where it's being respectful. But guess what that other side of the coin is, guys? That's all about being respected, and it's all about work ethic, and it's all about hustling. It's all about taking care of yourself, and it's really all about being respected, right? And so that's what men bring to the table, or fathers bring to the table, to their sons, to their daughters, to all that kind of stuff. And having both sides of those coins is really what brings value to a person. And if you only got one or the other, then you really not a coin of value. So these next podcasts, I want y'all to really focus, take a listen, because I'm going to talk about what exactly I learned from my journey of manhood and what I needed to learn as far as becoming a man of value. All right, y'all stick around. Peace.